What's up, gang? Z Train Express. This Demon Dialogue stuff is pretty fucking cool. Like, this book I've been reading, Hold Me Tight. And it's kind of well known in the coda scene. It's written by a couples therapist, and she did it for like 50 years or whatever, I don't know. And she's like, yeah, this is kind of a symptomatic approach to deeper attachment stuff. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically the patterns we form with our primary caregivers govern how we romantically invest and don't invest, etc. And of course, we repeat the same patterns. So if you attract nothing but narcissists, it's like because your dad was a narcissist and you're comfortable with that dynamic. And as I've said many times before, narcissism's actually super rare, and it's not what the buzzword has become now. It's like when you say a girl's a psycho, it's because she got angry in public. That's not what psychopaths do. Psychopaths actually have very low emotional responses, which is why they do really fucked up shit. Yeah, and you know, if you always attract psycho bitches, it's like probably because your mum was a psycho bitch and you're comfortable with that. Anyway, again, misusing words. The demon dialogues. So the three fights that most commonly happen in relationships. Number one, the number one game. Who's the bad guy? I know straight away everyone's like, yeah, I've already played that game many, many times. You're both upset and you're both like, whose fault is this? How did we get here? It's your fault because of your behavior. And it's like, no, it's your fault because you're too sensitive. I'm just doing me. Why can't I just be myself? Why does it reflect on you, you know? There's a bunch of codependency stuff in there that could be triggered by, anyway, heaps of stuff, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to get into that. That's a whole other video. But the trying to assign blame, like whose fault is it that we're having a problem? The problem is the game. And if you can identify it, if you can go, wait, we're playing who's the bad guy, it's like, this game has happened to us again. I'm sorry, I love you. The enemy is not your partner. It's not you, it's the game. It's like, fuck, we walked into this, we're both upset, and we're trying to fucking get a power trip resolution where it's like, it's your fault. Yay, I feel better now. Incorrect. Leads to disconnection. Do you really like defeating your partner and they're upset? And you're like, yeah, for a minute, but it's like, well, fuck, we're still disconnected. We're still like not feeling squishy love for each other, you know? Shit dialogue, demon dialogues. So game number 2, she calls it the protest polka, like the dance, yeah? But if you just think of it as the protest, what we are protesting is perceived disconnection. So if someone's like just a bit further out of reach and you're like, oh, if I reached out, they wouldn't possibly respond to me because they're a little bit too far away. So how many trillion things could you perceive as that they're just moving a little bit too far away? Not replying, not calling you when they said, not being home when they said they would. It triggers the childhood, like, are you going to be there for me? It looks like you're not there for me. I feel unsafe because parent not standing behind me while I'm taking a risk, you know? Like the reason that the kids love you to watch them when they're on the playground is because they're taking risks and they know it's fun and they know it's dangerous. They've fallen, they've seen other kids fall. You need band-aids and stuff, you know? But when you know your primary caregiver's got your back, or you know your partner's got your back, you're willing to take risks because you know that someone's going to hug you and they're going to forgive you and they're not going to think you're an idiot and break up with you if you fuck up, you know? So the protest thing is about perceiving that they might be unavailable, and particularly when your partner's talking to someone else of the opposite sex, like that triggers like a huge jealousy spike. It's not jealousy, it's fear that they will not be there. It's fear that they will choose someone else and move away from you and not be there when you reach out. And let me be completely vulnerable here. Like, I not only are deeply embarrassed by reaching out for love and stuff, it's so foreign to me that I don't expect it. I don't expect that when I reach that someone will go, yeah, okay, I'm here for you. Like, that's so foreign to me that I'm only just learning not only how to do it in a constructive way that doesn't freak out the other person, but it's just, none of it feels true. But I'm well aware that it's true, and I'm practicing getting reference experiences of it being true. So I will be comfortable to reach out and get reassurance or get the cuddle when I want it, get the text message back when I just want a bit of attention, you know, to reach comfortably. So the protest thing is basically the opposite of my disposition. Is like, usually I can reach and you respond. Are you going to respond, or are you going to fall in love with someone else? Or are you going to be at work really late with your phone off, which, you know, men really struggle with, like how upset women get that they're working. You know, I'm generalizing. And it's like, dude, I work 9 to 5. What the fuck? I have a lunch break at 1. You know the deal. And it's like, it's not a logical thing. It's a baby childhood. Pick me up. I'm scared. And it's not like you can only do that outside of business hours. Like, no, part of our emotional animal brain is like, yeah, fine, I get that. That's logical. I'll just reach outside of business hours. It doesn't change like how childish our emotions deeply under the surface, you know? How they're running under the surface. Game number 3. So this is when we break up. We break up when it gets to this place of being frozen. Fight, flight, freeze, right? It can get to a point in a relationship where like you're so sick of conflict and of reaching without love and reward, without reassurance, that you stop trying, yeah? And quite often in the protest stage, there's someone who's like more hostile and reachy, and there's someone who's more hidey and introverty and avoidant, right? That's really common. The human magnet syndrome is the, you know, narcissist empath, which is such a popular image. You know, there's actually not a lot of science to it because, like, as I said, narcissism's really rare, and actually empath is just like another word for immature codependent, you know? If you are hypersensitive and hypervigilant, it's not because you have magic powers. It's probably because, like, you were humbled by someone who was dominant and abusive in your childhood, and you've learnt to be hypersensitive to other people. It's not a magical skill. Like, I think, you know, probably we develop certain areas of the brain because we have to survive. And, you know, women have larger empathy and sensitivity areas. They're just born. And there's now studies to show that in the womb, girls have more of that brain matter in those areas. Like, it's not a socialized gender thing. It's like baby girls are just born with like more sensitive brains, and it's because at some stage they're probably going to have more babies, and they need to be more emotionally intelligent and attentive to the needs of those babies, you know? So freeze. It gets to a point where you stop reaching because you're never getting the love back that you want. And when you do talk, there's conflict and there's fights and stuff. So eventually both people just shut down, and you're just like trying not to move. And just like, if I sit really still, we won't get into a fight. And it's like the game and the games, you're both just not wanting to play. You just don't want to play anymore. And eventually someone like musters the courage to say like, I think I'm going to leave. And it's like, yeah, you should get the fuck out because this isn't working. And it's painful, but like, I really believe the main one, well, I guess it's just emotionally like true for me, is reaching, is knowing that your partner will respond when you reach. That's really special, you know? And if you can find someone who really gets you and likes being around you and doesn't think you're a little sook if you reach, because they really identify with you and your values and your needs, and you're just like really good friends underneath it all. It's really special if you can reach and they're like, yeah, I'm here. Yeah, fucking oath. Like, it's okay. Like, this is what love's about, is being able to reach, you know? It's really special. And like, the way to be less needy and less of a fucking drainer is like, do your own shit. Like, be really successful at the things that you think are important. The animal brain is like fear, anger, disgust. You know, it's really basic, in the moment feelings to enhance our survival. Fear, run away from danger. Disgust, ew, poisonous, spit it out, vomit it out. Survival, right? The progressed success, like prefrontal cortex, is like, I should probably not spend all this money now because future bills, problems, you know, it's like the animal brain doesn't plan. It doesn't go like, it's probably best that I like withhold what's it called? Delayed gratification, because I'm going to need this money to pay my rent. It's the animal brain, the drunk part of you that's like, let's spend it all right now, you know? And those parts of the brain do not communicate well. Like our human brain and our mammalian and reptile brains, they're not friends at all. And that's why you can't think your way out of a emotion. Stop trying to do that. Get the fuck out of the house. You can't think your way out of anxiety. You think your way into anxiety. Think your way into depression. And if you start to get angry, you need to leave that environment, because your angry thoughts will make you more angry, and that's when the shit goes down. That's when you need fucking self-defense. The shit hits the fan. You need to leave when you get that first that's like your survival instincts. That's what the animal brain's for. It's for survival. It's like, I need to get the fuck out of here. I need to be impolite and leave. I'm sorry, I'm out of here. And they go, why? And you just keep walking. You don't need to explain yourself if you're uncomfortable. You don't need to make other people feel comfortable if you're uncomfortable. You can just leave. But again, success, progress. Being proud of yourself is like the greatest safeguarding against the animal brain. It's like, yeah, I know what I'm doing. People can't knock you off if you're like kicking ass. And one of the main things that triggers us to feel really upset and emotional is being knocked off. So you need to be solid in your purpose. You need to be sure about what you're doing. If you're doing something you don't really want to do, yeah, cool for the money, but you better be doing something else that you do really want to do. Because not being on purpose, not living on purpose, it's very easy to get triggered and get knocked off. And we have to defend against that at all times. Because you're no good to anyone else if you're emotionally a mess. And you'll be emotionally a mess if you're not kicking ass in the way that gives you self-respect and pride. So that helps as well in relationships, is like really looking after yourself and being yourself and doing yourself and giving your partner time and permission to do themselves by focusing on your dreams and your goals and stuff. Like, it's really easy to fall into codependent stuff. Fixing you is killing me. It's really easy to think that that's the most loving thing you can do, but it's just fucking not. It's not. You end up in the freeze. You end up like both just wanting to be alone because you're not being yourself. To be in a relationship, you have to 100% be yourself and then be interdependent. And that's all I have to say about that. Avoid the games, people. Demon dialogues. If you're playing who's the bad guy's the game. The bad guy's the loop. Identify it. Love each other. If you feel like you can't reach. Ask them. Go, can I reach you? Are you going to be there for me? And if they're like, no, I hate you. It's like, try again, man. There's a million fucking people at arm's length, you know. You can find another partner. You probably repeat all the same fucking patterns that have been killing you anyway, but try again, you know. Love is out there and it's here, you know, it starts here. The soothing system in you, there's like a soothing mindset in the brain that's like, just before you go to bed, that needs to be activated. You know, qigong and yoga and like cups of tea and, you know, getting your head massaged, like they all activate this soothing program. You don't need someone else to do that. There are things you can do to soothe yourself other than alcohol and drugs. But, you know, going for a nice walk in the park, like lying on the couch watching TV, you know, they're all like, they activate the soothing, like parasympathetic repair system. And if you need someone else to do that, then that's something that you're outsourcing. That's an internal thing, right? It makes us desperate. It makes us needy. If we take care of ourselves and maintain our sovereignty and trying to be successful and get a sense of pride from the things that you value, and then you're able to soothe yourself, you know, you're able to take care of yourself. Fucking self-care, blah, 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 blah. But it's true, like, the reason that's caught on is because it is really important and it makes you less of a needy jerk. If you're trying to outsource those things, you know, you don't need sex, you know, you can fucking just download it. The sex robots are coming, people. Like, what we need is a best friend who encourages us to be the person we want to be, and you encourage them because you just think they're cool. That's the era we're heading into, is making love to your best friend, you know? And if the person you're dating right now is not your best friend, start again, man. There's nothing worse than banging your head against the wall. Like, I'm going to change them. I'm going to change them. Into what? You don't even have a goal. I don't know. I've been there a trillion times. Like, I'm going to change them into something else. You can't change anyone else, man. Do you know how hard it is to change your fucking self? And if you are trying to change yourself, that's a full-time job. It's not epiphanies, it's habits, yeah? It's practice. These things that I'm realizing about the patterns, I'm not fixed because I know that. I'm fixed when I practice it 100 times and it becomes unconscious. When there is conflict and I soften every time, then I've changed. When there's conflict and I stay and I escalate and I get tense, it's like I haven't learned the lesson yet. It's ritual, yeah? It's the emotional and the logical brain synthesizing and integrating. I've talked for way too long. Buy my book, it's coming out, Psychological. It's gonna have all this stuff, codependency, BDSM, martial arts, and how they're all related. Love you guys.